We do a rocket docket. We do a general overview or update with respect to what's going on. And if anybody who's not part of the working group has any question or anything like that, we will entertain that. But we're going to start with our law enforcement reform working group. And I'd like to call on Kanya Bennett, who's the co-chair of that working group. And if you look at the screen, if you are wanting to get in contact with one of the co-chairs and find out how you can plug in the specific information as well as the email for the working group chairs are up there. So Kanya, share it.
I want to give a recap of Police Week, which was last month. It was May 14th through May 19th. So we'll start with what the administration did. So in addition to issuing the traditional executive order that recognizes Police Week, Trump also signed an EO directing DOJ to develop a strategy to better prevent and prosecute crimes against law enforcement. So I don't think that it means much other than further messaging to the Department of Justice, which many of you know already has a policing working group that was established through a previous EO to look at crimes against law enforcement. So we continue to watch what's coming out of the administration with respect to the law and order narrative and try to see what this work looks like with respect to this interagency DOJ-led working group on crimes against law enforcement. We also spent a lot of time organizing around divisive policing bills that were advanced during Police Week. Many of you know the House passed the Thin Blue Line Act. That's H.R. 115. And on the Senate side, it is S 1085. So that is Buchanan's bill and Toomey's bill. And that makes homicide against law enforcement an aggravating factor for the federal death penalty. It passed by 271 to 143. The House also passed the Probation Officer Protection Act, which gives federal probation officers third-party arrest authority. That's Representative Reichert's bill on the House side and Pascrell Adi from New Jersey. On the Senate side, it's Hatch and Feinstein, and that's S 367. And so that passed the House. We had a better vote there. That was 229 to 177. And given the sort of bipartisan nature of the issue, though on the House side we had some help from the Liberty caucus in terms of opposition, there's some likelihood that this bill could actually move. And so we continue to engage the Hill, place op-eds, continue other media. We lift up the voices of law enforcement leaders to oppose these two bills, given they've come out of the House. And we certainly don't want to see them move in the Senate, as Reggie knows. We've chatted with him. We also saw the Back the Blue Act introduced, and there are many in this room that are organizing around it for various reasons. There are many bad provisions in it, from the mandatory minimums for all kinds of crimes committed against law enforcement. It includes the Thin Blue Line Act as a provision. It limits habeas. It limits 1983 accountability. It's S 1134 on the Senate side. It's Cornyn's bill, and it's HR 2437 on the House side. It's Poe's bill. And so we have not received any signals that this bill is going to move. I'm looking at Reggie, and he's shaking his head. But we all know that it will take just one incident, and you already have these bills introduced and ready to go. And with Thin Blue and the Probation Officer Protection Act, you already have those bills passed by the House. So one positive thing to share with respect to legislation: Cory Booker on May 25th introduced the PRIDE Act, and that's a mandatory data collection and reporting bill on police force, also force against police. ACLU, Leadership Conference, LDF, and some others in the room support the bill. It is a new and improved bill from the last Congress, where it was a discretionary sort of pilot programming and funding of data collection. This, again, is mandatory. So we continue to work with Booker and others on some positive policing bills that can be used to respond to the many divisive bills that are coming out. Our next working group meeting is this Thursday at 12, and it's here at OSF, so look forward to seeing a lot of you all there.
Okay, thank you so very much, Kanya. Any questions for law enforcement reform? Okay, we're going to move right on to promulgation, and Jasmine Mickens, in addition to being my senior policy associate here at Open Society, she's the guru